Hey guys, welcome back to Python versus Scammer channel. Here we're gonna do another tutorial on the auto dialer. This is more slightly advanced version versus where we left off from before. So if you finished off until tutorial number 3, the code on the screen should match what you have on file. So the last line of code we coded was I have called so many bench roads so far. Okay, so we're gonna expand on that idea on part number 4, and then we're gonna start off by giving some extra space between driver sleep random wait to print statement. So here I'm just gonna put a whole bunch of hashtags here. That is just a single line comment in Python. This just ignores the interpreter will ignore anything you'll put after this for this line. We're not gonna get too much into it. This is just to separate so you understand what the part 3 and part 4 is. So here we'll begin our part 4. Now the first thing we're gonna do is to add a couple new variables here. I'm gonna call this connect check start equals 0, connect check total, say 60 for now, and we're gonna have another variable called press once. I'm gonna equal this to 0. This variable here really should be a Boolean value, a true or false thing, but in the spirit of keeping everything as simple as possible, we're not here to teach you how to program in Python in depth anyways. So I'm just gonna use a 0 for this purpose, but the proper way of doing this is a true or false. So we're gonna do a while loop here. Well, connect check start, it's less than connect check total. Alright, so basically saying because the value is 0 and 60, so this loop will run while this number is less than 60. Of course, first loop will be 0 less than 60. Yes, that's true. Continue on. Second one, this will be incremented by 1, be 1 less than 60, true, keep going. So this loop will keep going until this number incremented to be 61, or sorry, 60. That is not less than 60. So at that point in time, this will stop. All right, so what we're doing there is gonna have a try and accept connect check status equals driver.find element by XPath. And the path we're looking for here is anything with an ID of dial status. That's what we want. Square brackets and close that off. Text. Oops. Double check again. Single, double. Okay. And then except means if there's any errors that's caused by this line, except exception, I see, and we pass that. This is a terrible programming practice, by the way, guys. I'm just doing this so keep everything simple, but in the future when you really get into Python, you want to know what the error was. You can fix that. Right now what we're saying is, hey, we're looking for, within this loop of 60 times, we're looking for this ID equals dial status text on this page. If anything went wrong, we don't care. Keep looking for this. All right. So where do I get the dial? Oh, spelled out. So dial status, where did it come from? That come from inspect element, this thing here. Okay, so if we inspect this element right here, you'll see the diff ID equals dial status. And right now the text says hung up. Okay, so if the line got disconnected or hung up, then we want to do something. Well, if it's connected, we want to do something as well. So that's where this thing came from. Okay, moving on. So next would be, oh, remember Python, everything's indented, right? So in case you didn't know that, within a loop everything should be indented properly. The next loop, everything should be indented accordingly as well. Okay, so here's we're checking, let's say connected. So if connected was in the string of check status. The string here is just a failsafe. It's probably a string when it returns, but we're just going to make sure. Looking for the string, this status, this text. If connected is present in this string, we want to do something. If hung up is in this string, we want to do something else. So and press once equals 0. The reason we're doing press once equals 0 is because we don't want to keep pressing keypad. We want to press it once. Whatever the key we're assigned to press, just press it once, moving on. Okay, because if we press too many times, they can tell it's a bot, and we want to be stealthy, right? So time.sleep, let's say 5 seconds. Well, if this was detected in the string, we want to wait for 5 seconds and then do what? Another try and accept. Press 1 equals driver dot find elements by x path of what? Square bracket out. Okay, this is so to find this element, we want to press number 1, because a lot of times the scammer will say press 1 to continue, press 1 to speak to an agent, press 1 for sales. So 1 seems to be a number they use a lot. So when we inspect this 1 here, you see a list, an order list, class called DTMF interface, and blah blah blah, all the numbers here, right? So if we want to see what a 1 X path was, we'll copy the X path here. I've done so already, so I'm just gonna paste this into Notepad. You can see this is the path we want. Okay, so this number ranges from 1 to 12 because on the Notepad, the dial pad, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 keys. So they're assigned according to their numeric value. So we want to press 1, then we need this. So copy that. So you don't, in case you're not following along with this, you can just copy that directly from the inspect element from your browser. No, I don't want that. We need this. Single quote here. This is kind of long, guys, so in case I screw up here or didn't close the parentheses or something, it will fail. We'll see in a second. So, you know, to avoid making, you're probably going to test the script a couple of times before you get it right. So don't feel bad if the first time it fails. Try and accept again. Oh, actually, we should. Should we wait a second? No. Okay. Let's just not waiting at all this time. We pass this again. Okay. So we press this once, and we need to print the message out so we know that pressed 1 and. Actually, you know what? Let's do this twice because a lot of times the scammer will change up the 1 to something else. So let's do this. Let's do this again, but we throw a random number in there. So we'll press 1 and another number on the keypad. So we'll press 2 things. So we'll assign a sleep here. And sleep. I don't know. 3 seconds later. Introduce a new variable and phone pad equals random integer between 1 and 12. That's the number we want. And we press once again here. We just have to change this value here. We're gonna throw a number between 1 and 12. Click. Okay, cool. Then we should print out a message. Print pressed 1 and another number. Here, press once. Oops, can't spell today. Equals 1. Okay, so the reason we are assigning the value back to 1 is we only want to press this once, right? So when this equals 0, when this loop runs and this if statement runs, then press 1 become 1. So on the recurring loops, this if statement wouldn't execute because this is no longer 0, it's 1. So we only did this a cheesy Boolean way of one time. But in the future, you really should do the true and false thing. So you've hung up. So capital. Come on. Oh yeah, capital U. Cool. You've hung up was in that string of connect check status, and then we want to break out this loop. Oops. Check start equals connect check total, and print calling the next. Oops. And then we're gonna assign press 1 back to 0, and we break out of that loop. Oops. Cool. So you've hung up. We're gonna break out of it, and here we should introduce a time.sleep 1 because this is remember this loop total is 60, right? And start at 0. So if we sleep 1 second every time this loop runs, that's just basically 1 minute 60-second check of what the status of the thing is. Okay, and that's what we're doing. So, and on top of that, don't forget, we're gonna print, actually no, connect check start plus equals 1. So here's what we're incrementing the connect check start, right? Because this is 0 to begin with, and this is 16 total. So first loop run, at the bottom, we sleep a second, increase that to 1. So now it's 1 less than 60, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, until 60 hits here, which is 60 seconds later. Okay, and we should print some kind of message out. I don't know, ... Great, save this, and let's test this. I'm sure there's tons of typos, guys, just bear with me. Okay, Chrome came up, very cool. Authorize. Great, we got here. Now we need to hit enter. See what happens. Waiting 8 seconds. Remember to script the phone numbers. We got 261. Ooh, allow microphone. Remember. Great.
Thank you for calling Broadsmart Solstice Benefits. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. For the operator, press 0. For the dial by name directory, press 9.
Oh, press the 1. Oops, 1 and 7. That's what he pressed. Okay, great. So connected was found. And
thank you for calling Broadsmart Solstice Benefits. So if you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time.
Let it move on to the next call. And make sure the keypad are pressed. the better way of doing this, the reason we should be doing this is because instead of just waiting a fixed number of seconds, this way,
Please
if the
press 1
scammers
for customer service.
answering service come on like this, it sometimes can last for minutes. Press 1, press 4, cool. It can last a couple of minutes, and by doing that, we're just wasting their time. And these toll-free numbers cost money, right? So we're gonna make sure the call got disconnected or hung up. That's the only time we gave up. Other than that, we will just keep on staying on this line for as long as they allow this. Sometimes it goes to voicemail, and that voicemail lasts another 2 minutes on top. Seemed to work. Okay. All right, so I'll leave this running, and I'm here just gonna show you guys the complete code so you can get caught up. Just a little long, guys. I apologize. So where we left off from part 3 is connect check start 0, connect check total 60, press 1 equals 0, while connect check start less than connect check total. Try this line, except everything is pass. If connected, do this. If hung up, do that. So this is the core, basically, of what we have written today. I'll leave this on the screen for a little while longer. Make sure you're all caught up.
You have dialed is not in service. Please check the number and try again. Goodbye.
Okay, so if you guys like this kind of stuff, smash that like button and leave me a couple of comments, because we can also add random noises to this. If those kind of features you guys want to see, and
Thank you for calling.
enjoy programming.
Please
in Python,
continue to
then
hold for the next
please let me know.
available agent. The person you are trying to reach is unavailable. Leave your message at the tone. Press pound when finished.
Okay, I think that's the conclusion of part 4. Thank you for watching again, and make sure you leave a comment and like. Thank you very much.